This is the Classic Auto Mall Show. Broadcast from the studios inside the Classic Auto Mall in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. Just 1 hour west of Philadelphia at Pennsylvania Turnpike exit 298. Featuring nearly 1,000 classic, vintage, and barn-find vehicles for sale under one climate-controlled roof. Now, here's your host, Classic Auto Mall president, and the man with all the toys, Stewart Howden.
And welcome show number 231. For those of you keeping score at home.
Hello.
Hello.
It's a good engine.
It's a 231?
231. Buick.
A Buick had a V6 Grand National. It was a 231. It had an oddball. What do you think they came up with that? Let's see. Should we call it 230?
230, 231, whatever it takes.
Yeah, whatever it takes.
A little extra.
What was a 231 would be?
3.6 or
3.8 liter.
3.8 liter.
That's right.
And before we get to our guests, we'll do our question of the day, or a question of the week. How many cars in inventory? Steve, go first this week.
I'm going to stick with my...
Oh, it's a Porsche reference too.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go 907.
Okay. JR?
I'm going to go 908 just because I'm going to do it.
Bing, bing, bing. Winner, winner. Yes, 908.
This is the Classic...
And he played his voice again. Is he going to get extra royalties for that?
Too many sound effects. Too many different...
clapping.
There you go.
I know, there's too much.
Let's get to our guest. We have joining us in the studio, which is rare. We don't have people joining us in the studio very often. Most often they're on Zoom or some form of that, or the telephone or whatever.
Yeah, this is a rare occasion.
Nice to have somebody in the studio with us.
I had to be here. Show up.
Show up or you'd be kicked out of the club.
That's right.
Joining us, Steve Erlichman, automotive enthusiast, former pit crew member, collector, purveyor, dealer of automobilia, consultant, salesperson, historian, freelance writer. Anything that I missed there?
Well, that's plenty.
That'll give us plenty to talk
overall
about.
car geek, I guess.
I can see that with your Rolex 24 Daytonas.
Yeah, fresh from the Rolex 24.
Were you there this year?
I was. I go every year.
Wow. And how much of the actual race do you watch? How much can you actually take in?
In the old days, I used to stay almost all night when I was a kid.
Right.
You know, I'd climb up in the grandstands, and I think one time I made it to like 2, 3 a.m.
Wow.
The one year where I was working for Al Holbert on the pit crew,
Right.
I was stuck out at the old signal pits.
Oh, so there's not much sleeping out there.
Siberia, and the car broke at 2 a.m., thank goodness.
It's way colder in Daytona
Oh my
that
God,
time of year than people
overnight.
realize. Yeah.
Especially overnight. But no, this year I stayed till the fireworks, which was 10 p.m.
Right.
But fog rolled in. In fact, they yellow flagged the race for 6 hours because of the fog. And the fireworks were like, where are they? They're up there.
They're somewhere. We're hearing them. We're not seeing them.
So I left after that. You know, I'm an old guy, so I was back in my hotel sleeping while they yellow flagged the race for 6 hours.
Yeah, good timing.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, an obvious win with Penske and Porsche. Once again, 3 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
That's, you know, people don't realize the significance of how hard that is to do on a 24-hour race. To win it 3 years in a row it's staggering.
Especially that this year was a completely new driver crew, except for one guy.
Right.
So, but you know, they're a well-oiled machine. But the wheel and Cadillac ran them hard at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny how you go 24 hours and they're that close at the end, way closer than an F1 race after 2 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
that's why I love endurance racing.
Yeah, I do too. I like it because somehow they manage to stay close and they keep it close and they don't have to do some silly rule thing that you know creates unnecessary drama or whatever you want to call it. So what got you started going to Daytona? Did you just randomly say, hey, I want to go to Daytona?
No. I was sent there.
To like military school? Or?
Steve has heard this story. I was working for Al Holbert as a salesperson.
Right.
And this was 1979. I'd been there about a year. And I get a call from him from the track. Week before the race. The Wednesday before the race, Tuesday before the race.
Odd call, right?
Yeah. And what are you doing this week? Well, I'm trying to sell some cars for you. He said, well, you know, we got this silver 75 911 out there. I said, yeah, I know it. He said, well, I sold it. I sold it to a photographer. And he's here in Daytona. And we need the car brought down here. And we were going to have one of the kids in the shop do it.
Right.
And he got nabbed for speeding at 110 miles an hour over on Route 263. So he's not going to do it. So how would you like to do it? And I said, what, drive it down to Daytona? He says, yeah, get here by 4 p.m. on Saturday before the race starts. And, and you and Doc Bundy will drive the motorhome home.
Of course.
So I said, why not?
Sounds like a lot of fun.
22 years old, stupid. So I grabbed the 911 and ran home, grabbed a bag and my camera and drove nonstop. Well, I stopped for about 2 hours because I was being chased by a cop. And
You had to hide behind a tree.
I hid
or-
behind a gas station for 2 hours.
They never think to look there.
No, never. I had to pee anyway.
Right. So double-edged sword.
So I took a couple of hours of sleep, and that was back in the days where 95 was not complete yet.
Right. Oh, that's right.
I had to get off on a surface road in Georgia,
South Carolina.
Yeah. So after like 2 hours of shut eye, I barreled down, and then getting off of 95 right at the racetrack, a half hour after the race started, I hear that telltale sound coming from the back of an old 911 of the cam chain tensioner collapsing.
No.
But I knew what it was, and I knew what to do. In those days, they had a hand throttle between the seats. So I pulled up the hand throttle to like 3,500 RPM and kept it at that, and drove over to the track entrance where there was supposed to be a credential waiting for me, which of course there wasn't.
Right. Somebody forgot that.
Yep. And so I'm sitting there and okay, what am I going to do now? All right, I'll buy a general admission ticket.
Right.
And I'll walk in and I'll try and find everybody. And just then, Al and Bob Holbert come driving out of the tunnel. Al and Doc Bundy were driving a 935 for another driver that broke. And so they were headed to dinner. So I said, hey, I'm here. I made it. He says, oh, terrific. Go on, climb in. We'll go to dinner. And I said, well, car's making a noise. I think it's a chain tensioner. He says, oh, great. Did it fail? No, it's about to.
Right.
So, okay, all right, let's go to dinner. You and Doc will drive it up to Brumos on Monday in Jackson.
Right.
So that's exactly what we had dinner.
Which was a pretty good, it's not, next door.
It was 100 miles.
Yeah, which is a lot to ask for the chain tensioner to
So Doc
survive.
and I flipped a coin. Who's going to drive the car? Who's going to drive the motorhome? Doc drove the car.
Oh, nice.
And Al and Bob flew home that night. Not to extend this story anymore, but I went back, they dropped me off at the track. I walked back inside and found the motorhome and figured I'm just going to go to sleep. I'm tired. So, I just fell asleep, and there's a noise at the door. And I look over, and there's a hand coming through the door trying to reach the latch.
Right.
And I'm like, what the hell is this? So, I open the door and look, and there was an old racer named Steve Bear, who you raced.
Baer?
Behr.
Oh, Bear.
Steve
like
Bear.
that.
He raced with Mike Kaiser, one of the Toad Hall guys.
Right.
And he's trying to get in with a girl.
Because he figured that Al's gone.
He knew that Al and Doc weren't using it. Doc was off who knows where.
Sure.
So he's trying to get in with this girl, and I open the door, and he's like, "Whoa, who are you?" I said, "Well, I'm blah blah blah." I said, "Oh, okay, I'll go somewhere else." Yeah, please do.
Yeah, because
I'm not going to put up with that. Yeah. So
did you watch any of the race while you were there?
I did. I woke up and I grabbed my camera and went right into the pits. And that was the year that Danny Angaias was driving the Interscope car.
Oh, Danny on the gas.
Quit right before, like 2 laps to go. It quit at start finish. So he did a Dan Gurney. He stopped, had enough of a lead, and when they threw the checkered flag, he got it across the line on the starter.
Wow!
And I was right there in the pits. And in those days, we just walked out onto the grass.
Right. Yeah. Well, and because people don't realize that, the attendance to a 24-hour race versus like a NASCAR race is night and day. There's lots of empty space, and people aren't quite as...
And it's all in the infield.
Yeah, and people aren't as worried about stuff like that as they used to be. That's, it's one of the things that separates some racing forms from other. Drag racing always comes to mind because they were always so good at opening up the pits and that whole center area to the general admission ticket, you get to see the pits. How cool is that? Not every racing discipline lets you do that. NASCAR, you don't get to do that.
F1 doesn't, NASCAR doesn't, but sports car racing, and that's one of their big marketing things is that you come into you may have to pay extra for it, but you get into the garage area.
But everybody's part of the team. So selling cars for Holbert back in 79, you almost been moving a lot of iron back then.
No, not yet.
Really?
We were still a small delership. We were probably the third most famous delership in the country.
Behind Brumos
behind Brumos and Vashik Polak.
Yeah.
So people came to us from around the country and we had some great mechanics.
Sure.
Including Al's cousin Bobby, who could work on any Porsche. And so there were lots of people coming to us. We would sell 30, 40 cars a month. There were 3 of us as salesmen.
When Brumos would be selling, 100 at the time?
No, they were probably doing 50
or 60. So you weren't far off.
Yeah, the biggest dealer in the country in those days was in D.C., HBL in Vienna, Virginia.
Oh, I don't remember them. Yeah.
So. In fact, when I told Al I wanted to buy a 911 for myself, he said, you can't afford a 911, I pay you. I know you can't afford it. I said, no, I can. I got financing. He says, all right, we'll go down to HBL and buy it because they get more cars than we do.
Yeah, I don't want to give up one of ours.
Yeah, I don't want to give up one of our 911s. So eventually I talked him into it when I realized that having a salesman with a $600 a month payment's not a bad idea.
Yeah, he's probably, it's good that you're not going anywhere for a while. Exactly. You got a car payment to make, $600.
And I still have the car. So.
Do you really? And what is it?
79 911 SC.
Oh, man. What color?
Black and black. When black was special order.
Yeah.
And Al got some things on it for me that were only available on turbos, like headlight washers and black roof liner. And that's an heirloom. That's not going anywhere.
How many miles on it?
151.
Wow.
I drive it.
You drove it. You still drive it?
I do. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
It's on a battery maintainer. It's always ready to go. I can't not drive it.
Right. So after taking the car down there, did Al see, hey, this guy may be more involved with the racing side of it, or how did that kind of transfer?
Yeah, he realized that I was a sucker.
Yeah,
and
could work for low money and
exactly. I'd work 6 days a week, sometimes with a day off, 12-hour days, and he'd walk up to my desk the day before my day off. So, what are you doing tomorrow? That's my day off. Yeah, what are you doing? Well, I didn't have any plans. Well, how about running out to Lamont Gear out in wherever and pick up this ring and pinion?
Right.
Oh, okay, I can do that. And if you drop it, don't come back.
Right. Yeah, that's
stuff like that.
Sure.
But I'd come out to my desk and there'd be a Bosch jacket on my desk, or there'd be when he ordered Holbert racing jackets for everybody, he ordered one for me. Right. So yeah, he paid me.
You're part of the team.
I was, and was part of the 924 project.
The DP 924?
Yeah. In fact, I was right in that from the beginning. Al was a big enthusiast of the 924.
Why? I mean, what made him like that?
I don't know, because the early 924 was not a very nice car. And
not much power.
No power.
Yeah.
It had a Volkswagen truck engine.
Right.
Well balanced, good looking, and comfortable.
Reliable?
Extremely.
Yeah.
They were bulletproof.
Yeah.
They were bulletproof. And we sold a lot of them. Excuse me, because it was $99.95 was the base price.
And red was a good color on those.
Red, yellow, whatever one.
Yeah.
Whatever. And he had us all driving them as demos. So we did sell some, and it improved a little bit with the turbo. But Al decided he wanted to give the car a reputation, and Porsche was kind of on board, but not with a big budget. So he made a deal with the racing director here in the U.S., a guy named Joe Hoppen, to start this program. And Porsche agreed to build a kit that could be shipped in a knockdown form to be assembled here
at the dealers
by Holbert Racing,
right,
and then sold as a turnkey production car.
Oh,
so they did a prototype of that, sent that over. Al evaluated it and didn't like it, so he gave them ideas of what to do to make it better. And Joe Hoppen gave him a street 924 that had been a road test car, EP8 test car, had the crap beat out of it. So on my day off, he sends Doc and I up to North Jersey to get this car, 280,000 miles on it, rattling down the Jersey Turnpike. Of course, Doc made me drive that.
Of course, you lost that toss.
Yeah. And we turned that into the D Production National Champion.
Wow.
There was very little budget, so they recruited me. After I'd worked 12 hours, I'd go out back to the race shop, change into jeans and a T-shirt, and the car was on a rotisserie. And with torches and scrapers, we'd scrape off the undercoating, and we got the car down to bare metal. They put a roll cage in it, got an engine from a guy named Caldwell, who later would go on to build Toyota engines.
Right.
And it was 2 guys on their crew.
What was the output? What was the horsepower of that car back then?
I think they estimated that the racing engine was about 175.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if you take all the heavy stuff out of a 924, it's probably fairly light.
I think the car
core
got down to like 1,700 pounds.
Right. Sure.
With everything scraped off of it. And God, it was reliable. It was bulletproof. And Doc won every race that he entered with it, won the national championship at the runoffs.
Sure.
And then they started selling kits. They sold 4 or 5 924 kits. I sold one to a guy. And
to you mean a consumer or other racers? Teams?
Other
racers.
Yeah, racers started contacting us, and the shop was furiously putting these kits together, and these guys would come and pick them up. And then the Herman and Miller guys up in Jersey, they bought a kit and they won the championship the next year. So they were very happy with the 924 project.
And Rick Mears was driving for the 924 team back then, right?
Yeah. What happened there was Al drove the 924 GTP, part of a 3-car team at Le Mans in 1980.
Right.
And he was supposed to drive with Peter Gregg. And Peter had a road accident on the Thursday before the race.
Oh, wow. In France?
In France.
Oh, wow.
And unfortunately, it led to him taking his own life because he had double vision after that.
Oh, my God.
Wasn't able to drive, obviously wasn't able to
Worst
race.
thing ever to happen to a racer.
Well, and to a high achiever like him.
Right.
I mean,
be better off blind than double vision.
He had just gotten married. He had the dealerships. He was a world-known racer. And if he couldn't race, he didn't want to live. So they recruited Derek Bell to drive with Al in this 924 GTP, and all 3 cars finished. The number one,
Which
car
is amazing.
won its class. Yeah, for a brand new car with still an Audi-based engine.
Right.
So Al bought the car that he drove, and they shipped it over to Holbert Racing and ran it at Daytona in '81 with Al, Doc, and Rick Mears.
Wow.
And then the plan was to race that in the Trans Am series with Doc, but then Al decided, no, we're going to take a GTR, a 924 GTR, and improve it. So they actually raced both cars. Doc drove one, Al drove one for a couple of races, and then Al sold the car with a GTR to Bruce Levin, Bayside Disposal.
Right.
For he and Hurley Haywood to drive.
Yeah, the Bayside. I love that. That was a great livery.
Trash guy.
Yeah, the trash guy.
Trash
that
guy.
was great.
He was a character.
Oh, man, there's a lot of characters back then. We were talking about Preston Henn from T-Bird Swap Shop and all these guys. So you kind of helped, you got involved with Porsche more corporate as well, too, at one point.
Corporately, not really. Corporately, I was with Mercedes-Benz.
Right, but I mean, didn't you write some contributing stuff to the Porsche magazine?
I did, yeah. There were a couple of magazines that were published. There's a Ferrari magazine called Cavallino.
Yeah. Is it still around?
It is. It's owned by Haggerty now. And
no kidding.
It was created by a guy named John Barnes, an artist, and he decided to do a Porsche magazine.
Right.
So there was a woman that I knew from the Porsche Club named Suzanne Miller, also a writer. So she was set up as editor, and she was looking for contributors. So I jumped in, and I wrote a bunch of articles for a magazine called Gemund.
Gemund, I remember.
G-M-U-N-D. It ran for, I don't know, I guess about 4 years.
Did you have writing background, or did you just...
No, I didn't. I had a mentor. There was a guy named Al Bachrock who wrote a book with the Holberts. Right. Just a basic racing book. He was a world-renowned writer, worked for Road and Track, wrote a number of books.
So you could send him something and he could give you a little bit of...
He mentored me.
Right.
And I developed a style based on the way he wrote. Then we later co-authored a book on the Trans Am series together. And so, I wrote for this Gemund magazine. And then Suzanne started publishing a annual based on the old Porsche Sport annuals that Road and Track did back in the 70s.
Wow, yeah.
So we did that for a few years. So, that was fun. And I used to get paid in books. Still have a box of books somewhere.
And when did Porsche and Audi stop being a thing? When was that? Did they split at some point in time? How did that work exactly?
Yeah, 1984, Porsche had the brilliant idea to take ownership of all of their dealerships.
Really?
Which is illegal in the U.S.
Right. I was going to say, didn't that some franchise law that maybe pesky franchise law?
I don't know how they thought they would get around it. And I was working for another dealer at that point across town.
Right.
So my dealer and Al Holbert got together, got in Al's airplane, flew up to Detroit where they were based, where Volkswagen of America was based, and threatened and said, you can't do this. We'll sue the hell out of you, blah, blah, blah. And they said, well, we're going to do it anyway. So they set up a headquarters in Reno, Nevada.
Right. Oh, wow. Well, because that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Germany being already 6 hours.
Yeah, then you add the whole go across the United States.
Hours.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah, that made a lot of sense.
Brilliant. So
they sent termination notices to all the dealers, and they were going to set up like regional dealerships in big metro areas, and these franchisees would have rights to do service and could sell from a centralized inventory.
Brumos must have been furious as well.
Oh, my God, yeah. I mean, Peter was gone by then, but Bob Snodgrass had taken over the dealership. Sure. And they were absolutely furious, and there was a huge lawsuit, and Porsche, of course, had to back off of that.
Right.
But they did split from Volkswagen of America. They did set up Porsche Cars North America in Reno, kept their dealers.
Right.
And they still exist. They're in Atlanta now, and obviously have been successful. I mean, Porsche's selling 5 times the cars these days with the SUVs and everything than they did back then. But that was a pretty stupid idea.
Yeah, but I sometimes the worst laid ideas are things that maybe in the long term maybe work or don't work. You don't always know.
Yeah. Well, they looked at the model in Europe, and a lot of the manufacturers, particularly today, like for instance, Mercedes-Benz owns almost all of their dealers in Europe.
Really? In
England, they own all of them.
And it's not against the law there.
No,
so
they don't have franchise laws.
And crazy. You'd think that they would, but they probably didn't have as many franchise type businesses over there. It was more individually owned type. Every business over in Europe used to be there was no chain. No. There wasn't a row of 7-Elevens.
No, they didn't have dealer groups. There were, there were families that were connected, when Porsche
Racing
set up a dealer network, they went to their racer in Holland, Ben Pond. So we became their importer there.
Right.
And, here in the U.S., it was all about Max Hoffman.
Sure.
So, yeah, that's the way it worked.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah. It makes perfect sense now when you think back about it, right?
Yeah.
So you talked about you work for Mercedes in the AMG program. I'm a huge AMG Mercedes fan.
Yeah,
I mean, a huge. I just sold my S65 Coupe twin turbo V12, and I'm kicking myself every day for
What
this
year
black,
was-
black,
what year was that?
16.
Oh,
Black. Yeah. So, yeah, I know.
Oh, you should have kept that.
You know
that
what
was
got-
my favorite company car. I had a 63.
Yeah.
That was
Oh.
black and black. Oh,
Yeah.
my God. I
Yeah,
love
that obsidian black and that Napa black interior. And that
Pretty
car.
comfortable, fast.
And what I loved about the Coupe, the S65, and prior to that, the CL versions, which I have a CL 55, 2006, I like them is that not many people really know what they are.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of those cars that people look at and they go, oh, okay.
They're sleepers.
They don't really understand. But if they do know, and especially the sound that S65 Coupe, when you fired that thing up, it's just funny to watch in the rearview mirror.
That was all part of the AMG startup signature. That was on purpose.
Right.
And when we used to, my job was to go into dealers and do training.
Mm-hmm.
And we always started the car up that we brought in.
And made sure that
at that first of all, the dealership would just empty over
Right.
to where the car was.
Sure.
That's all part of it, that it's got to make a
And it did. I mean, it
Yep.
made the sound like no other sound you've ever heard come out of a car before. And you know, like you said, what a great selling point. I mean, what a great thing to tell a potential buyer. This is what people are going to hear that are standing behind your car.
I watched salespeople use it as a closing tool.
Sure.
You know, I used to like to stand on the showroom floor and watch them sell and watch them
Learn a lot about
customers,
how the
yeah.
process. And
So you know, more than once, I pull a salesperson over and say, "Just you almost have them.
yeah,
Go get the key and get it and start it up."
start this thing and let them be standing in the back there.
Exactly, and you could see them just go.
Yeah. And AMG was a privately, or not necessarily privately, but they were a separate company from Mercedes-Benz when it first started, and they were just modifying no different than a lot of other
They were
companies.
tuners.
Yeah, they were tuners.
They both worked at Mercedes-Benz as engineers, and you know, Mercedes-Benz engines were way over-engineered and underperforming.
Right.
So they saw
Perfect.
the potential.
Yeah.
And the engine guy who was the M in AMG,
Mhm.
Erhard Mersche,
Right.
he just came up with his own cylinder head design, 4-valve. You know, this was back in the 70s.
Right.
The
Yeah.
company was formed in 76.
It's funny to see those old 70s modified cars that were done
Yeah.
back, and they were kind of crude looking, but cool.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, the company was formed in 67, and they made a name for themselves when they ran a big 300 SEL in the Spa 24-hour race.
Right.
The Red
6.3.
6.3 that finished second overall. That's when they made their name, and they just started getting business, got closer and closer to Mercedes. And in the mid-90s, Mercedes bought into the company, and they started selling their cars through the dealerships. And in 2005, they took it over completely, and that's when I was brought into a project.
Right.
They wanted to start here in the U.S. with setting up a group of high-performing dealers in big markets who sold a lot of AMGs, and they were going to make them performance centers.
Right.
And with a little investment from the dealer for a display and a commitment to training, and they originally signed up 25 dealers, and myself and another trainer were recruited to go around the country and get them up to speed and give them targeted training.
So they'd understand what they're getting into.
Exactly, to build the value and elevate the customer experience.
Right.
And that it grew to over 100 dealers. We added 2 more trainers, became the model for worldwide training for AMG. And I retired from MBUSA. I was an MBUSA employee, but AMG paid half my salary.
Right.
So I retired from MBUSA in 17, and then AMG hired me as a consultant directly.
Well, it worked out pretty good.
It worked out terrific. They paid great.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go to a general manager for international travel
Right.
approval, all
You just-
that. They just said, here, you're going to Beijing. Here's a business class ticket. Just go.
Right.
So I did that for about 4 years directly with AMG.
Were the dealers reluctant of AMG at first? Did they think it was going to hurt them or not help them? And was there ever any kind of feeling like, oh, we're having to do something, maybe this will or won't work, or this will or
No,
won't
the
make
dealers
sense?
that we pitched it to were the dealers that sold a lot of them anyway.
They knew
Yeah,
what they were.
and they were very profitable cars.
Sure.
And they were extremely loyal customers. They'd have 3, 4 of them.
Right.
You know, there'd be a Porsche in the garage or a Ferrari in the garage too, but they drove an AMG every day.
Right.
And you know, the spouse drove an AMG, and you know, they'd buy one for the kids. So you know, incredibly wealthy demographic and very loyal customer. And you know, it was a Mercedes-Benz, but it was fast.
But it was fast, and they weren't known for that.
No, they were not.
It was funny. I was just in California. And we were talking about the pecking order of cars that you see in California are Tesla Coupe or Tesla Sedan, Tesla Cybertruck, and G-Wagon.
I know.
It's like, it goes from
Oh my God, the G-Wagon. Everybody loves the G-Wagon.
I don't. They don't drive that nice for a Mercedes.
They don't drive nice at all. But
I was trying to be polite.
when you consider what they were made for,
Right. They were utility trucks.
they were. It was the Shah of Iran commissioned Daimler-Benz to build this vehicle that could go off road through the desert and carry 6
Right.
soldiers.
And that's asking,
Yeah, and then he was deposed,
Right.
so he paid for the design. So Mercedes said, "We got the design.
Might as well,
put it
yeah.
in production." And they don't even make it themselves; it's made in Austria for them.
Right.
And they didn't change much of it at all until about 10 years ago,
Right.
when mostly U.S. and Chinese customers said, "Hey, you know what? We really don't like solid axles front and rear."
Right.
anymore."
Little rough riding.
Yeah. So they stretched it. They widened it. They put independent suspension on the front, put a nice E-Class interior in it, but still 3 locking diffs and all
Sure.
that.
And it still feels narrow. Even now. It still feels like you're right there.
But there's nothing like the sound of that door.
oh, that could chunk, and then the exhaust sound of that.
Yeah, which is
especially
right under the-
right there.
I mean, they know how to market the G-Class, and they make a lot of money from it.
Yeah, and I don't think they, that's not where somebody's not coming in and haggling over that one. They're
No, you can't choose from 3 of them.
You'll
like,
either,
well, all right,
you'll
give me-
either take that one. Or,
Give me 3 color choices. I'll see what I can find, or order it, and it'll take you.
yeah, or get a used one. And none of the rich guys want used ones, right?
No, well, because they have to pay too much for them.
Well, yeah, because that's like the Corvettes. I remember there was a time when certain Corvettes were more expensive used than they were new because the dealers would mark up the used ones. Chevrolet said you can't mark up the ZR1,
Right?
And it's got to sell for retail. Well, then the minute it went onto the private market, boom, it went for 20% more, 30% more, whatever it is.
Dealers used to suggest that you don't mark up a car, but it's manufacturer's suggested retail price.
Right. And it still says that to this day.
That's
suggested.
That's the Monroney law.
That's so funny. Though.
Yeah, it's because after the war, when cars were so short, dealers were gouging whatever they could get for them.
Yeah.
So this Senator Monroney got this law through that the price had to be posted.
Right.
You didn't have to sell it for that. You could sell it for above or below, but the customer had to know how it was priced.
Well, I see on our bags of potato chips, $7.95. I don't think we actually pay that. So I think, that's a psychological thing.
That's right.
So you're still dabbling in cars.
Yeah, I always will.
It's still your thing. But you're dealing in diecast and automobilia and things like that? I love that segment of the hobby.
Oh,
I really do.
It's so addictive. I started collecting when I was 3-4 years old. My grandmother, whom I used to see every Sunday, always had a little dinky or a corgi for me.
Right.
And she always knew what she bought for me, so she never doubled.
Oh.
And that's what started me. And my father taking me in his Triumph TR3 to my first race when I was 4.
That didn't hurt.
In Vineland, that didn't hurt either. I got the car gene from him.
Right.
It comes from the family business. And I still have the first Porsche model I ever got.
Really?
Like a blue 356, yeah.
I wish I'd have saved all the Matchbox and Hot Wheels. And
There's so many that I should have saved.
Yeah.
I saved a handful of them. My collection now is mainly hand builds and in 1/43rd scale, and some in 1/18th. And I've got a few thousand, and I'm over 70, and my poor sisters, will have to deal with that. So
like typical car collector, the same thing.
Yeah. So I'm selling, trying to thin the collection.
And how are you doing that? Through eBay and auctions?
eBay's the best source. I'm selling books too, and for some reason, books don't sell on eBay.
Isn't that funny? And it's funny because automotive themed or related books seem to be doing better now, new, than they've ever done.
Oh, the prices are ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculously. I mean, Carl Ludwigsson's book on the 3 volumes of power about his superchargers and turbochargers, it was like this tall.
Carl's very smart.
Very thorough.
His original Porsche book, Excellence Was Expected, was a tome.
Sure.
And it was $50 when it came out in 79 or 80.
Which was huge.
I bought it. Yeah, now it's 4 volumes. And it's $500.
Right. Yeah. What a great guy, though. It's so great that there's people like that will put all that information down so it won't be lost to
and
history.
Write it so you can read it.
Yeah, it's not something that you go, I don't know what they're talking about. I can't read this. This is too confusing. There's so many things you read that are exactly that way.
Exactly. Some of the specialty books, like our friend Matt, who's building a book collection, and he says he started a couple of books that he just had to put down. They're just written so bad.
Yeah.
Well, he's an English teacher.
Sure.
So.
Oh, I'm horrified because when I write, our little 3-paragraph newsletter, I'm always thinking there's some English guy that's going to say, you don't know what you're doing. Quit trying to fake being a writer.
I used to drive editors crazy. Yeah. Yeah. But people like Ludwigson, in fact, I'm working my way through his 2-volume book on Reed Railton, who was the guy who designed a lot of land speed record cars. So.
Right. Yeah, that'd be interesting. What gets you excited in the car world nowadays? What do you like? Electric cars, that's your thing?
No. I have nothing against them. I don't want one. I like to burn hydrocarbons. I like the sound, the feel of a car. That's why I have an air-cooled 911.
Sure.
I mean, it's fine. It's if you want an electric car.
And if it works for you.
There's good ones out there. There's bad ones out there. If it works for you. It wouldn't work for me.
Right.
I just love, I'm fortunate with my retirement package from Mercedes. I get to get a new Mercedes every year. And, not free, but cheap.
Right, yeah.
And I choose an AMG.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
Because I still love the feel of them, the sound of them, plus the comfort and the safety and all that. So
don't people forget how bulletproof Mercedes are? They've become something different than they used to be.
Yeah.
But back in the day, I mean, they were always bulletproof. Well, you had the 300 SEL, as we were talking about, with that hydromatic suspension. Might have been a little not quite so bulletproof.
But the engine was bulletproof.
Oh, man, and it was a beast.
Yeah.
And if you knew what those were back in the day, I'll never forget there was a guy in our neighborhood in Tennessee that when I was growing up that had one, which we didn't even see a Mercedes anything. But it was a 300 SEL, and he was the cool guy in the neighborhood, wore the Ray-Ban aviators, flew, had a small plane.
Oh, yeah. That's the type of guy I used to sell a 911 to back in the 70s.
Oh, sure. Guys who were just, through and through car people before it was a thing. Mostly, I what I hear from my people that I know that were around in that time is that we were nerds. People didn't think we weren't cool that we were into cars. It was the opposite of that. So, but I think all of us, growing up in the United States of America, cars were such an integral part of everything that we did. And everything that happened in your life, a car was involved. When you were born, when you died, when you went on your first day, everything that you did.
It's culture. It's part of our lives. And my family were successful because of it. My grandfather founded a trade show, an aftermarket trade show.
Wow.
Just after the war, that today is the SEMA show.
Wow.
Yeah. 2 generations removed.
Wow.
It would kill him to see how big it is.
Yeah.
And after he passed, my father ran it and made it big.
Right.
It used to alternate between Chicago and New York in the big exhibition centers.
Did he sell it to SEMA, or did SEMA just become involved?
SEMA was an exhibitor.
Right.
And in those days, it was the Speed Equipment Manufacturers Association. And they were an exhibitor. And I used to go, when the show was in New York, in alternate years, I would go with my father, and he'd walk me around. And I met all the guys, Vic Edelbrock, Ed Iskandarian, Hedman, Mickey Thompson.
You read about all these guys.
Yeah, was a close friend of my father's. I used to get Christmas cards from Mickey every year. And so I met all these guys, and the show had gotten very big. And he made one big mistake. He was based in Philadelphia.
Right.
And they had opened a new convention center in Philly. This was 1968. The one that's over by the old convention hall across from Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
And they made my father an incredible deal to be the first trade show. And he was like, great, it's all on one floor, because in New York it was on 3 floors, blah, blah, blah. So he said, okay, we're going to move the show there. And the notorious trade unions in Philly.
Oh, yeah.
They just made it horrible for the exhibitors. And the exhibitors all said, all right, we're never going to come back to Philly. My father said, fine, we'll go back to New York and Chicago like we did, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't even give him a chance to do that.
Oh, no.
SEMA went with another operation. They formed their own association and literally took the show away from my father.
And nothing he could do.
No, put him out of business.
Oh, man. But, what a great legacy.
Yeah, that's where I get that. My car gene comes from him and his father.
So what's your daily driver today? What are you driving now?
My C43 AMG.
Nice. Those are great cars, aren't they?
They're terrific, and driving out here in the fog and the wet road.
That's what they're built for. That's Germany.
80 miles an hour, you still feel so safe. Yeah.
That's Germany. That's exactly, people don't realize that that's what it is. My wife
is. That's every time I drive in Germany, I mean, it's amazing. You get out of the left lane and over into the right in the Autobahn where you have to, and a big S-Class will blow by you at 160, and the guy's in the back seat reading the newspaper.
Sipping a latte.
Yeah.
So you've driven the Autobahn, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
How fast have you gone on the Autobahn?
170, 175.
Wow. Porsche?
No, it was in an S63.
Oh.
One time was when I was at AMG, which was in a little town north of Stuttgart called Falterbach.
Right.
And I had an afternoon off, and I wanted to go up to see Hockenheim, the racetrack.
Yeah.
And so I promoted a car out of them. So I got on the Autobahn, and I said, okay, this is the Autobahn.
You got to do what you got to do.
I'm going to go fast. So I'm in the left lane going about 140, and the headlights are coming up behind me. So I figure, those headlights are catching me fast. So I get out of the left lane into the right lane, and an S-Class coupe
Right.
AMG coupe comes, boom, just blew by, like, almost. So of course I had to catch up with him.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So the two of us are we got up to 170. That's when I started. So you know what? I'm not used to driving at this speed.
Yeah, it's a different realm and a different world. And it's not just 20 miles an hour faster than 150.
No, it's exponential.
Yeah, it really is when you start getting into that area.
And the lines become, one line, and the guardrails just blowing. I'm like, you know what? I'm not used to this, so I let him go. He kept going.
Wow, and those guys do that every day, probably. So.
Yeah. Well, it's for an executive who has a car like that, whether he has a driver or not. It's cheaper and faster than getting on a train,
right,
or getting on an airplane. You could get from Frankfurt to Berlin for a meeting in the morning, and drive back in the afternoon.
Yeah, when you couldn't do that at 55. That would never happen. So anyway, Steve Erlichman, so wonderful having you on the show today. I mean, we could talk all afternoon, but we will be back with the Classic Auto Mall Show in just a couple of minutes. We'll see you then.
Whether you want to buy or sell a classic, collectible, or special interest vehicle, you need to visit the Classic Auto Mall website for more information. If you're looking to buy, you can easily search our inventory of more than 1,000 vehicles on the web at classicautomall.com.
And here we are back at you, Morgantown, PA, on a beautiful... Is this snow ever going to melt?
I don't know.
I mean, it's been around for 3 weeks now.
We
had the one storm, and then we had the big storm, and it's never warmed up enough to melt it. And it's
that's why all the fog now.
It's going up instead of melting.
That's God's calling it back to
get up.
Get up. Come on, get up. Great guest. Just so fun to talk about guys like that who have something interesting to say and are easygoing to talk about
and done so much.
Great stories and done so many cool things.
His memory is just envious.
We see that a lot with people that have memories that you think it's just surprising that people can remember like exact days and like September 7th of 1971. I was on a plane to wherever, Stuttgart, and I mean it's like, wow, how do you remember all those?
I just heard a baseball player talking about some game that was from 1973, and he's talking about pitching that game.
Well, how about we've had race car drivers who'll tell you about a certain turn and a certain race in the late 70s, and how he had to get off the throttle a little bit. Like, wow,
it's amazing.
Wow. So where do we sell cars this week?
Where?
How about, is it Prevost or Prevost, California or Canada?
No idea. Is there a T on the end?
Yes.
Canada, let us know.
Prevost.
Prevost. How about Prevost, Canada, New York, Miami, Florida, Washington, D.C., big towns.
Yeah.
Watchung, New Jersey, Chester Springs, Pennsylvania, Sneads Ferry, North Carolina, Morgantown, Pennsylvania.
Hey, now.
Had to get a shipper for that.
Yeah.
Newark, Delaware, Milltown, New Jersey, Parksburg, Pennsylvania, Hollandale Beach, Florida. Oh, there's a great club that was in Hollandale Beach,
really?
Florida. Oh, yeah. The Button
kind of
South.
club?
The Button South. Nightclub.
Oh, okay.
Rock bands and so on. And that was in Holland. The Button South, it was called. Saw a lot of great bands.
The Button South.
The Button South.
Shout out to the Button South.
Yeah, they probably don't exist. Probably a strip mall now.
Right.
No pun intended.
Or strip club.
Spring City, Pennsylvania, and Midlothian, Texas. Woo!
Spring City, right down the street.
Just right down the street. So, man, oh man, we have been busy on the sales side and slow on the consignment side. It's one of those things that happens. And it's not always just bad weather. It just, for some reason, sometimes it does. I think this is obviously based on bad weather, but the problem is we don't sell any less. When we consign less, it's not, congruent with how much we sell or don't sell.
Sure.
So we need consignments. Bring us, you're tired, you're poor, you're hungry.
But you're running poor and running hungry.
Or just review what we've had here for a while, and sometimes you go, you know what, that is pretty nice.
Yeah. And we've got a lot of great cars here that maybe started out that were a little bit overpriced, and they've come down on price after a period of time. And they're, you say, well, why are cars overpriced? Well, I mean, it's perception is a part of it as well, too. You can say cars are overpriced in every discipline that you watch, whether it's an auction on TV, or an online auction, retail sale, whatever. So, it's subjective to say the least. But why are some cars overpriced? Well, somebody may have bought at the top of the market, and the market's going in the wrong direction than it used to be. Or they bought it, and they were thinking that it was going to go up in value, and they bought it because it was going to go up in value, and it doesn't. And so...
Or they put a lot of money into it.
Or they put too much into it that they didn't plan on putting into it because maybe there's something wrong with the car that they didn't know about ahead of time.
And fixed up.
Or added wheels and tires and a stereo. Or
for themselves that don't really add value to anybody else.
You could put a $10,000 stereo in a car and it is not going to bring $10,000 worth of value back to you. No. Now, I'm not discouraging you from putting a $10,000 stereo in. Put a $10,000. If that's what you're into, then go for it. Put it in there. Enjoy the heck out of it. Whatever it brings you, it brings you. Don't buy these things. Don't do the modifications if you're thinking you're going to make a profit from it. But people get caught up in the moment in buying these cars, and it's people go, well, you're just overpriced. Well, it's a hard pill for people to swallow sometimes. I mean, guy buys a car, in the hopes that he's going to make a profit on it, or hopes that he won't lose any money on it. And sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. But I always caution people, buy a car because you like it, because you want it. Do the modifications because that'll make you happy. Right. And then if you can sell it for more money than you pay for it, then glory be, hallelujah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the greatest things, too, is the auctions on TV. But the double edge of that sword is you see these cars that are pristine that are selling for crazy money at the hot time in the market. And you think, well, I got the same thing. And it's where you don't have the same.
It isn't the same car. There are, this car is done. This car, $200,000 was spent on the restoration that they're selling for $100,000. Your car was $50,000 to restore, and you're thinking it's worth
And you don't have all the documentation.
And you don't have or know any of the history of it even.
Yeah.
So,
or it might be the same car, but the auction factor, the barret-jackson, the meeting, the excitement of that,
happens,
and Jack Daniels.
And lightning can strike. Jose Cuervo was
right.
our guest
That's
last week. Yeah, but the auction environment can be great for buyers and it can be great for sellers, and it can be horrible for buyers and it can be horrible for sellers. You just never know when something's going to catch fire, and there's not a lot of rhyme or reason to it. It isn't obvious why some car all of a sudden that was $50,000 sells for $250,000, and it happens a lot. And I think people just get caught up in the moment, and it's not about the money. It's just about I want that and I don't want the other person.
Like that Lincoln that sold it.
Yeah, for $1 million.
Yeah.
So. New arrivals that we have here. How about the 1995 AM General Humvee M998 pickup? OD green. Is that olive drab?
It's olive drab.
OD green
it is.
over black. Redone from the ground up. 6.5 liter Navistar diesel V8 with a 4L80E 4-speed automatic transmission. Got them Rod Hall extended shocks.
It's good for tall snow.
Tall snow. It's apocalypse ready.
It is neat. I mean, everybody should have one of these.
I think you should. Just don't go through the drive-thru at the Burger King.
At Dunkin' Donuts.
You'll never get through. How about the 1964 Dodge Polara 4-door sedan? This is a great starter, classic car, something that's cool, something you can take the grandkids or the kids in to go get ice cream. This is medium tan metallic and light tan over taupe and tan. A lot of tans in there. 98,000 actual miles. It's got the 318-inch cubic inch V8 with a Holly Sniper EFI, which is interesting to make it a little bit more reliable. You don't have to dink around with the carburetor and that kind of thing. It's got Willwood front power disc brakes, which is a good thing to add to a car.
Right, and I would say the price, this is a good example. The price doesn't reflect the Holly Sniper in there, too. This is a well-priced car.
And an upgraded stereo that's in it. I mean, this thing is nicely done. And, there are probably things in it that don't factor into the price as much as they actually put in it. How about the 1956 Chevrolet Corvette convertible? Cascade Green and Beige Coves.
Oh, Cascade Green? Is that what it is?
Cascade Green, and it's got the beige coves over beige interior, long-term ownership. It's a date-correct 265 cubic inch V8 and dual Carter 4-barrel carbs. The dual quads. Date correct means it was an engine that was built around the time that this would have been built, and so it should work out fairly well in that respect.
Yep.
A Muncie M20, great colors, and it's got the hard top. So it's got two tops. It's got soft top and hard top. It's very nice. Next on the list, this is you talk about a great car for a starter classic car. 1986 Ford Mustang GT convertible, black over charcoal, 46,000 actual miles, garage kept, a time capsule, 5-liter V8, got a great sound, fun to drive, plenty of power.
There it goes. There it goes.
It just left. See?
Is that automatic?
And it's an automatic.
It's automatic.
Yeah. So you can enjoy a car like that, and they're fun to drive.
Nice. An 86 is classic, you say?
Classic.
Unbelievable.
How about the 1964 Chrysler 300 convertible? Rosewood poly over white and black. 383 cubic inch 4-barrel V8. Very original example. Lots of new stuff. It's got power steering and brakes, which is very important to a lot of people, especially, you can get a car with no power steering. It can be a little tricky driving, especially at low speeds.
Right.
I love no power steering when you're on a higher speed, sweeping turns at 50, 60 miles an hour.
Sure.
But around town, not quite the same. So, but this is, drop top, again, reasonably priced, something that it's affordable to get into. And then last but not least, the 1961 Ford Thunderbird convertible, Corinthian white over black, long-term ownership, Radnor Hunt winner, 390 cubic inch 4-barrel V8. These things, they weighed a lot, but they had big power. Cruise-o-matic automatic, and it's got the Roadster cover included, which is it's a fiberglass cover that goes over the back seat that makes it look more sporty.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's our new inventory for the week, and when we come before we go away, this has been a very emotional week. Long term, like 10 days after we started, Bill Borneman came to work for us. And I had met him at Radnor Hunt in 2017 before we'd started, right as we'd moved here, a week after I'd moved here, and met him, car guy through and through, hot rod builder, knowledgeable. Just lost him a couple of days ago, and he was as dedicated as employee as you'd ever see. He's one of those take a bullet for you kind of guys. He was and he was a car guy's car guy.
Yep, absolutely.
And he ruled that Stringo. If you ever haven't seen the Stringo that we have here, it's a vehicle mover. It's red. It's got hydraulic things that pull the wheels up on a car, and you can just move cars into places you never thought possible. And Bill was the master at it.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I'd met him at Radnor Hunt, and I remember when I first met him and talking to him about Classic Auto Mall, I could see he was like, whole mall full of cars. Yeah, sure. And then I'll never forget, he came out in the first week of January when we'd officially opened, and he walked in the door, and you could just tell, I was standing right there, and you could just tell he got it. He didn't quite get it until he walked in the door of this place, and he said, I got it. And just a great guy and a great family. His son, Dave Borneman, has taken over the family business, which is hot rods that they build down in Pottstown area, and has been doing that and doing an excellent job of it. And, that's the worst part about this business is that, a lot of our guys and our customers are older, and, it's just part of life, but it's a bitter pill to swallow. And we love Bill, and he was our guy, and he could fix just about anything. He's a guy, if you're on your road trip, you want him next to you.
Absolutely.
So he would certainly take care of just about anything.
Any car.
So rest in peace, my friend. We'll see you on the other side. And when we return, we'll return with our friend Keith Martin, publisher of Sports Car Market Magazine. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
The Classic Auto Mall has more than 1,000 vehicles for consignment in our huge 8-acre climate-controlled showroom. It's a real indoor mall. If you'd like to know all the advantages of buying and selling a car through consignment, the information is available on our website, or you can talk to a Classic Car specialist who can answer all your questions. It's easy, safe, convenient, and it doesn't matter where you are. We sell worldwide. See our huge selection of classic and collectible vehicles at classicautomall.com.
And we're back with the Classic Auto Mall show from the Classic Auto Mall studio in good old Morgantown, Pennsylvania. Joining us via Zoom, our friend Keith Martin, publisher of Sports Car Market Magazine. Hello, sir. How are you?
I am doing great. How about you?
I'm doing great. I like the little Lotus picture. That must be Bradley behind you with the yellow Lotus on the...
Yeah, and its license plate reads Elise.
I like it. I like it a lot. You don't have that.
I will always maintain that the Elise S2 is the greatest pure sports car ever built.
It's like a go-kart but bigger.
Well, and with 4 airbags and working AC, the Toyota engine, when I did my 10,000 mile service, it was $84, I think.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That doesn't happen very often in these rarefied air cars that we seem to put ourselves into.
10,000 miles on that car. I mean, I just love it. It's because it's so, analog.
Right. And that's in a good way, right? People think that everything's got to be computer this and computer that, and analog is a good thing. We were just talking about power steering, how you like it at low speeds because it's hard to muscle around, but at high speeds, it's nice to have that manual steering feel of a car. It just has a better feel for it. So your latest blog is, would you spend $2,000 for a top? I'm not thinking that the kid top where you pull the string and then it goes the thing. This must be an automotive top for a possibly.
It's for a 91 Alpha Spider.
Ah, the S4 Spider, yes.
Right. I've had the top's been on the car for 36 years. Car's always been inside. My son, his Volvo wagon needed work, which we'll talk about at another time.
Yeah.
So he took the Alpha home to Eugene and parked it out in their outdoor garage.
Right.
And it was 30 degrees out.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So the next day when he put the top up, the rear window split.
Oh, man.
The car had never, ever been outside overnight before.
Right.
And what's his fault? I mean, it just, it's a 36-year-old plastic window.
Right.
So I started doing some research, and it's about $2,000. It's because you have to get the top from Robbins.
Right.
And then several people said, well, just replace the rear window. So I started doing some research, and everybody told me that was a stupid idea because
Right.
I've got 36-year-old canvas
Right.
that I put there, which looks good.
Yeah.
But it also, the amount of labor involved to cut out the rear window properly and then re-stitch in a new one gets you pretty close to the notion of buying a whole new top and having the whole thing installed.
Sure.
So my thought was, it's given me 36 years of pleasure. Why not be nice back to the car?
Yeah. Spend a little, get it a new top.
Yeah. The car, it's an automatic, so its value is somewhere between $12,000 and zero.
Depending on who you ask, right?
Exactly. Depending on whether I'm coming to you to buy or sell.
Or selling, yeah. It's a whole. We just talked about that too. It's funny how this all comes full circle, doesn't it?
I know. But I'm going to go ahead and have it done, and just I did look into having a zip-out rear window put in it, because when I had a 63 Alpha, I had a new top put on, and I had a zip-out rear window, and it changed the car. Because in hot weather, you can just put the window down.
Yeah, and have that. But even in cool weather, when you're getting the windows fogged up and stuff, sometimes having that little bit of airflow through there helps as well too.
But what the shop told me was that Robbins who makes the tops, doesn't make a zip-out rear window for the Duetto configuration. They do for the earlier Giulia and Giulietta, because the structure of the top and the top bows is different.
Right. Well, of course it is, because that's just, they had to do it different, right? It's
Of course.
It's so funny, some of the things that should have been more universal that they made over the years. It's funny how that's all changed, and everything is so specific to this particular model, and you hate that because it just makes the price of repair so much more expensive, because they can't stock 100,000 different parts of the same type of top.
Well, I restored a 62 Chevy 2 Nova wagon, and they
that sounds so far from you, I can't even fathom.
I missed that car and wish I had it back.
Really?
It was a 283 3-speed car. We put a 4-speed in it, bucket seats, Nova, the dash with the tack.
Yeah.
I mean, it just, I made the mistake with that car. I thought, I'll just make it really correct, and I'll take it to barret-jackson. I'll make a killing.
Let's see how this story ends. You take it to barret-jackson.
I had the only Nova wagon that wasn't raised 13 feet in the air with 12 subwoofers on the roof.
Right. So, arguably, to argue to say that you didn't do well with that car.
Well, Ken Lingenfelter bought it, and he told me
Well, that's cool.
that he was asleep in the front row, and this kind of okay-looking Nova came across, but it wasn't raised up.
Right.
Yeah. But it was like, it sold for $28,000. He said, 28. I'll buy that.
Yeah, he said that's 1 hour of business for him, right?
Yeah. So about 2 years ago, I decided I wanted to buy it back, and he said, I don't know who got that car for me, but I think they raised it all up.
Of course they did, right?
But those shoebox Chevys were so pretty.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how a car, I always say it about we've talked about this, the Datsun 510 is the same thing. It's a pretty car in a boxy configuration. And it's hard to describe that to some people, don't quite understand it, and they are dead to me. So
I agree.
So you had a little jaunt in the DS21 Citroen last week, right?
Well, the story with that was that I was driving with my son on the freeway at dusk, and the car just stopped.
Oh my
The Citroen
God.
just stopped. And then cars, I pull off to the shoulder. Cars are going by at 80 miles an hour.
Oh, it's the worst feeling ever.
The Citroen emergency light is like a 3-watt light bulb.
Yeah. Outer space will not see it.
No, and I have to confess, I was pretty stressed out.
I would
because
imagine.
It's dark. It's the freeway. It's my kid. It's my car. A towing company did come get it right away, which was really good. But I had been, while the car was running, I had been bidding on this Alpha S4.
Right. Right. So
I didn't want to miss the car because it was a 14,000-mile car.
So you're on the phone and
Yeah, while the car's being winched onto the back of the flatbed, I'm bidding on the Alpha.
You have to sell that Citroen because it will be mad at you forever for not caring about it so little that you're buying another car.
I don't think the Citroen would be mad. I think it would just be French.
Well, that's probably true. But how do you get a tow truck at dusk on a dark night? Do you call AAA? Who do you call?
I don't know whether it was AAA or Haggerty because they kind of overlap.
Right.
And luckily I got some. There was Hood River was nearby, and unbelievably, within 15 minutes there was a flatbed there.
Wow,
the weird thing was there's like a 50-page manual on how to put a Citroen that has no park selector onto a flatbed truck because you can't put it in park. I don't even know what you put it in.
Right, you put it in. I don't. What? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and so the driver and I decided that we didn't know what we were doing, either one of us. So we just winch it up and tie it down,
drag it up there, and whatever happens.
Yeah. But it was, that was a particularly great car, but I fell out of love with it at that moment because I don't like to be let down like that.
Yeah, and even though somebody showed up within 15 minutes, there's nothing more unnerving than being in an unfamiliar area. It's dark. You have no way to get away from any wrongdoing, right. and you're just out there, and that's
really it was the traffic difference. And all it takes is one guy not paying too much attention. And you've got a mess.
I was looking at my wife's Mercedes SUV, and I was opening up the back compartment to get something out, and I realized I have no idea how this whole spare and pump and tank work, and do you do this? And then I got to thinking about my son had a flat tire one time on the side of the highway, and he had a minivan, and there was some kind of, you had to get out like a ratchet and lower it down, and the wheel was underneath the rear floor. It's like
you use your head as a brace. You put it right between the tire and the ground.
Yeah,
or a shock. Maybe a shock.
Maybe, yeah. I think shock would be a better use for my head.
I have a philosophical question to ask our listeners.
Yes.
So, we're going to do a tour in 2028.
Right. Nobody knows though.
It's our 40th anniversary. I'm not telling anybody about it. Right. So anybody who's listening, just shut up and don't say. But I'm looking. It'll be my our 40th anniversary tour. I'm looking at the years of the cars that I want, and we used to be 74. I think I want to go all the way through 98, cars that are 3 years old.
Absolutely. I think you're exactly right. And I think as long as you're selective of what the cars are, and you're going to be selective on what you allow in and what you don't allow in. And it'll have to be, based on our agreeability that, it's the right car for the event. But I think there's nothing wrong with that. And listen, you want to encourage more people to do things like this and not discourage. And by doing that, a lot of guys don't have the wherewithal to fix a car on the side of the road when they're on one of these tours. And I know there's helpers and people that can help and do all that. Some people like the ability to get in and know that the car is going to start, know that the car is going to ride pretty comfortably. And that's okay. We're not looking down our nose at people like that, right?
I understand. It's really, the C4S that I just bought, that 911.
Right.
It's a 2005. It's a 20-year-old car already.
It's hard to believe that. People think when they look at a car like that, we say this all the time, it looks like a brand new car, but it's 20-something years old.
Because the new ones look the same.
Everything looks the same, right?
Yeah. So you think that it's not going to be too big to let too new a car in is not a problem?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think like I said, you got to pick the right car. I mean, you got to pick something. You can't just be something that's so mundane that you go, what would this possibly be doing, and why would they want to put this in? You don't want to put in a Cavalier station wagon. Not that I'm against Cavalier station wagons or something like that, but I'm just saying, if it was something that had some significance in the automotive world, I think that we too often in this hobby business look down at people that are driving newer cars than 78 or 74 or whatever the number is, and that's silly.
Well, 30 years is old enough.
It's old enough. That's an old car.
And 30 years used to be an old car. It's not anymore.
Right. Yeah, because they'll go 200,000 miles and
So I'll keep you posted on that, but like I said, it's a big secret right now.
All right. Well, and please let us know so we can let our watchers and listeners know when they can sign up for it, because I know there's a lot of them out there that would like to be a part of this. And
I'll tell you the secret as to how we're going to keep it affordable.
Right.
Now you keep this a secret too. All right.
Mum's the word.
reason that a lot of these big tours have gotten up into the $15,000 and $18,000 a car range is they treat it like a cruise ship, all inclusive.
Right.
They book your room, they take all the food. The Porsche Club here has a role model that I'm going to follow. You pay an entry fee of $2,000 or $3,000.
Right.
You book your own room. We reserve blocks of rooms at hotels. They get a discount rate. You take care of your room.
Sure.
On the meals, we'll be in cities where we'll provide a couple of meals, but a banquet meal is like $200 at a hotel, and it's crappy.
Yeah, it's awful. It's a dry chicken and dry roast beef.
Right.
So I like that idea.
I say what you do then is you go to Open Table and you tell the guys, look, Tuesday and Thursday nights, you're on your own. These are 4 restaurants we recommend. Yep. Go eat.
Yeah. Because
have a nice opening and nice closing. But I think you can get the cost down to like 1/3 of what the California Millet and because the all-inclusive thing, when we book all your rooms, we take care of your luggage. It's really expensive. Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things that just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean you always want to stay in the, 4-star resort. Sometimes just a Hampton Inn is okay. It's nothing wrong with that.
I see more and more tours now where they say, 5-star hotel every night.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you're going to eat.
Wouldn't you rather have great back roads?
Absolutely.
Than a 5-star hotel?
Yeah, and I'd like to be able to park right at the door of my hotel too. I'd like to be able to be right there, especially if I've got a high dollar car with me that I'm running around. I don't want to.
You have a high dollar car? When did that happen?
No, I don't. if I were to have a high dollar car. Anyway, good to have you back, Keith, and we'll see you again next week.
Keep all these secrets now. Keep all these secrets.
Mum's the word, pal.
Right, thank you.
And we'll be back next week with the Classic Auto Mall Show from the Classic Auto Mall Studio, Morgantown, Pennsylvania. We'll see you then.
Here's a special offer from Sports Car Market Magazine. Get a 6-month subscription for just $19.95 by going to sportscarmarket.com/test drive and the number 6. That's sportscarmarket.com/test drive 6. If you're a buyer, a seller, or just general classic car enthusiast, publisher Keith Martin says,
we've been around almost 40 years. It's the Wall Street Journal of the collector car world.
Activate your 6-month trial of Sports Car Market Magazine by going to sportscarmarket.com/test drive 6. Offers for a limited time. Be in the know with Sports Car Market.
The Classic Auto Mall Show with their host, Stewart Howden, executive producer, Steve Sethier, produced and engineered by yours truly, J.R. Russ, video editor, Randy Lammy. Available on classicautomall.com, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. Music courtesy of the Pat Travers Band. For tour dates, contact, and stuff, visit pattravers.com. Produced by Car Smarts Media. Copyright all rights reserved.